Hey everyone, in this video I will share you the 4 most valuable lessons I've learned from building a startup and eventually needing to shut it down. So if you're trying to build a company or you're maybe already building one, this video can save you a lot of time, money and stress. At the end of the video, I will share with you a bunch of helpful tools that can really help you in building your startup or company. It's been quite a while since the last time I posted here. I built 2 companies in the last 5 years. One of them was Reach, a peer-to-peer mental health app that basically connected you with people who had similar experiences. We built an algorithm that made sure we connected the right people with each other, but also made sure that we avoided the wrong connections. We also joined Belgium's biggest startup accelerator, started at KBC, which is something I could recommend to everyone because joining a startup accelerator is not only beneficial for the coaching, for the events, but just being surrounded by a lot of founders and the same energy. So around 1 year ago, we came up with the idea of Reach. And at the beginning of October, we launched our second prototype, which resulted in 300 users and around 20% of people using it still after 1 month. The most important lesson I've learned building Reach is that you have to validate fast. Validating an idea is very important, but we spend too much time questioning ourselves if people would eventually use it. In my opinion, there's 2 things you should do once you have an idea. And the first one is make an MVP or try to sell your idea without even having a product. The biggest benefit of you watching this video today is that you can build prototypes in a matter of minutes with very limited amount of money. And later this video, I will share some of these tools with you. One book that everyone watching this video should read is The Lean Startup. It basically teaches you to not spend a lot of money and just build something fast and getting a lot of user feedback. Now going to the second lesson we've learned at Reach, and that is talk to your customers. The number 1 mistake people make when starting a business is they go off their own assumptions. But starting a company is hard reality. It's supply and demand. And what you think might be important might not be the case for all your customers, which basically means you're building a product you like, but your customers don't. Most of the time in the early stage of your startup should be spent on talking to customers and gathering as much feedback as possible. You also don't need to overthink this. For Reach, for example, we went to Reddit, into mental health communities, and we just sent messages to people asking them, okay, this is our idea. What do you think of it? How can we improve it? How likely are you going to use this? If not, what is something we could implement that you are going to start using it? You have to ask all these type of questions and eventually your idea will shape into its final product. Now for our company, it was Reddit, but you just have to see where is your ideal customer. This could be just by knocking on doors, by going to companies. It does not matter, just find where your ideal customer is located. Lesson number 3 I've learned is don't ignore monetization. The only reason how a business can survive is by getting money. The ideal scenario is that you find paying customers in a very early stage. Because if you eventually want to get investors or get into big accelerators, the number 1 thing they ask for is traction. And having paid customers, even if it's only 3 or 4 people, is going to be a huge benefit. So spend your time on figuring out why should people pay for my product? Because building beautiful things is nice, but if it doesn't give you money, it will not be a sustainable business. And number 4, speed and feedback is everything. A lot of people value making something perfect instead of making something fast. At Reach, we spent a lot of time trying to build our first product, and that's probably one of the biggest mistakes we've made. I'm a very perfectionistic person, and while that's not necessarily a bad trait, in business, speed is much more important than doing things perfectly. If you're not happy about the way your first product looks, that's exactly the right timing to launch. Because most of the time the things you're trying to perfect are things people don't even need or value in your product. So there's 3 steps in building a startup that you need to repeat at all time, and that is launch quick, gather feedback and iterate. And you have to repeat this whole process until you eventually make a successful product. So finally, I'm going to share you some of the tools I've used while building this startup so you can use it yourself while you're trying to build a business or accelerating what you're currently building. So first of all, a tool everyone uses is ChatGPT. I recommend getting a pro subscription because it gives you so much more value. Second of all, for designs, you can use Canva or Figma. They're really easy to use, and for an app or for social media, it's really easy to make designs on it. For design inspirations, you can go to websites like Dribbble or Pinterest to get inspiration from other creators. Then for creating prompts, I would advise Claude AI. If you want to build a landing page or a web app, I would advise Lovable. This is also the application we used for Reach. If you want to build a fully native mobile app, you can use Bloom.diy. For keeping track of your process, you can use Gira, and writing and sharing documents can be done in Confluence. And lastly, something I could recommend is if you're trying to find a co-founder or someone to work for you, go to the co-founder matching platform of Y Combinator, because you will find find a lot of interesting and ambitious people on there. I hope this video helped some of you. So if you want to see a part 2 of this video with more lessons, make sure to drop a comment and leave a like. If you want to see more of my content, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok, which is vincent.mp4. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.